In a world where magic determines your place in society, we meet Will, the most unlikely of students at the prestigious Magic Academy. He's not here to become the next great mage, nor is he chasing glory. Will's goal is far more humble. He wants to impress his childhood friend Elfaria, who once made a promise with him. The catch? Will has zero magical talent. The academy professors and students all know it, and they make sure Will is reminded of his status at every turn. The episode begins with Will grinding for extra credit by battling monsters in the academy's 7th floor dungeon. Unlike his classmates who wield powerful spells, Will fights with a sword, an old-school relic in a world dominated by magic use. While the other students are learning how to conjure flames from a basic ore in class, Will is out in the dungeon risking his life to scrape by. In class, Professor Edward, a typical condescending teacher who believes only those born with magic deserve to be here, calls on Will to perform a simple demonstration, channel a bit of magic to ignite a flame. The professor, fully aware that Will is magically inept, takes sadistic pleasure in humiliating him. When Will inevitably fails, Edward doesn't hold back. He mocks Will in front of the entire class, calling him a failure and implying that people like him are only good for janitorial work. But Will, always the underdog, isn't swayed by Edward's insult. He's been hearing them all his life. Even when Sion, the academy's resident golden boy, steps in to show off his fire spell, Will keeps his cool. Sion's arrogant display only fuels Will's desire to prove everyone wrong. Will isn't after fame, he's after something far more personal, a promise made long ago. We then get a glimpse into that promise. Long ago, Will and Elfaria stood together, dreaming of becoming Magiavanders, the most legendary of mages. These 5 supreme magicians once lifted the sky itself to protect the world from a looming celestial threat. It's a title that every mage dreams of achieving, and Elfaria, with her immense talent, already risen to those heights. Will, on the other hand, is still struggling to find his place in this world of magic. Despite his lack of magical ability, he's determined to reach that goal. If not through magic, then by becoming a sword that can stand beside Elfaria's wand. Outside of class, things only get worse for Will. Sion, along with his usual lackeys, confronts him in the hallway. It's the typical bully routine, and it looks like Will's going to take another hit. But in comes Colette, Will's fierce and loyal childhood friend, who doesn't tolerate anyone messing with him. Colette throws herself between Will and Sion, standing up for Will like the badass she is. Sion, annoyed but not deterred, taunts them, reminding Colette that someone like Will could never be a Magiavander. Colette isn't swayed. She knows Will better than anyone, and she's not about to let some pompous rich kid dictate Will's future. Later, Will finds himself in trouble again, this time for sneaking into the dungeon without permission. Professor Werkner, though stern, reluctantly rewards Will with 2 credits for defeating monsters. Will's method may be reckless, but it's undeniably effective. Still, Werkner warns Will that if he truly wants to graduate and achieve his dream of becoming a Magiavander, he'll need to focus on improving his magical abilities, not just his swordsmanship. But Will is undeterred. His strategy is simple. Earn enough credits through practical work, fighting monsters, battling in dungeons, and proving his worth in combat. This resolve leads Will to a dangerous mission. To stay on track, he needs 4 more credits, and time is running out. He sets his sights on a powerful monster deep within the dungeon. Unbeknownst to him, Sion overhears this plan and decides to sabotage Will by killing the monster first. With his cat companion Kiki by his side, Will descends into the dungeon. Sion and his gang, eager to ambush the monster before Will, are the first to encounter it. Things go wrong fast. The creature they face is far more powerful than they expected. Sion's magic isn't enough to handle it. As the battle escalates, it becomes clear that Sion is in over his head, and the monster is moments away from killing him. Hearing their screams, Will rushes to the scene. He sees Sion desperately throwing fire spells at the monster, but it's useless. Despite all the bullying and arrogance Sion has thrown at Will, our protagonist doesn't hesitate. He steps in to save Sion, driven by the promise he made to Elfaria and the belief that kindness isn't weakness. The fight that follows is intense. Will may not have magic, but he's got something just as valuable: combat instincts. Quickly assesses the monster's movements, dodging attacks and reading its patterns like a seasoned warrior. Using his sword, Will cuts through the monster's defenses, landing powerful blows. The clash between Will and the creature is epic. Explosions and rubble flying everywhere. Finally, in a stunning move, Will deals the final strike, cutting down the beast and saving Sion's life. Back on the surface, Professor Edward is stunned. He refuses to believe that a student with no magic could have possibly defeated such a powerful creature. But Professor Werkner sees what Edward cannot. Will isn't like the other students. He may not have magic, but he has something far more valuable: determination, skill, and a heart that refuses to give up. Will may be a sword in a world of wands, but he's not someone to be underestimated. The episode ends with Will earning his 10 credits for defeating the monster. He may still be the Academy's underdog, but he's just proven to everyone that he's more than capable of standing tall, even in a world where magic reigns supreme.